Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 British horror comedy The Snarling, a film that is written and directed by Pablo Raybould, who also makes an appearance in the film as the detective inspector. This film also stars Lawrence Saunders, Chris Simmons and Ben Manning. And this is a film that focuses on a small rural town in the UK that is having a film made in its small little village. It's a zombie film, so there's a film crew there, and they're doing all the filming, and the lead actor is a bit of a pain in the arse, keeps getting held up, keeps going to his trailer with lots of headaches and things, giving everybody problems, but nowhere near kind of problems that the village is having, because this film set seems to be cursed because people in the village keep turning up dead. And there's three locals at a local pub. We've got Les, Mike and Bob, who all get cast as extras in this film. They then turn up to the film set, do what they do, all this kind of stuff, and all in the while these villagers keep going missing, and the day after, the detective inspector played by Pablo Raybould and the local police department keep finding these bodies, trying to put two and two together as to what's going on, who's involved, and there may actually be a connection to this film crew as to why all these local people are turning up brutally murdered. Right. So this film comes highly recommended by Leo over at Geek Legion of Doom. I think this was one of his favourite films of last year. He was very complimentary of it, so I've been quite looking forward to watching this film. And this film is littered with British humour. It's got the British stamp of approval of humour. It's almost like a sitcom horror. This film. Now, I'm not sure this will float a lot of people's boats, especially who aren't in the UK. It's a very specific humour, this, that most British people will get the humour in this. I'm not sure many others would. That's not to say that all the humour in this works, because I don't think it does. There's quite a few gags and jokes that missed the mark, but saying that, there's also an awful lot that really did hit the mark, and I was laughing out loud more than a few times watching this film with the humour. It's really funny at times, this film. The main problem with this film is the humour, as good as it is, kind of detracts from the fact that not an awful lot happens in this film for the most part. You do see scenes of the locals getting attacked by this so-called werewolf, but in actual fact you don't. You hear a lot of growling, and it's usually at night, obviously, full moon and everything, and it's cut in such a way, quick cuts and stuff, that you hear growling, snarling, a bit of screaming, a little bit of blood here and there, and a scene, maybe the odd tooth snarling at something, but you actually don't really see a lot. And then it cuts to like the day after, where the police find the bodies, brutally savaged and torn apart, etc. So it's actually quite clever in hiding the fact that you don't actually see a lot. So for me, the humour had to be good, because that's what's carrying the majority of this film. This is heavy on the comedy and light on the horror, I would suggest, and the comedy needed to work, and thankfully for the most part it does. It is generally quite a funny film at times. I thought the three lead actors here, Les Saunders, Chris Simmons and Ben Manning, all did a great job. They had great chemistry between each other and some great one-liners. And Lawrence Saunders, who plays Les, actually has a dual role, because he plays the lead actor on this film set as well, who's a bit of an arsehole. So he does particularly well, because the two characters he plays are complete opposites of each other, basically. So he does a really, really good job. Now, for a horror film, like I said, it's not particularly scary. Well, it's not scary, this film, at all. and when the reveal does actually take place, again, it's fast cuts and you don't see an awful lot, and it's a little bit of a letdown actually when you do actually see the creature at the end. But again, it's understandable. This is a low budget film, and they clearly didn't have the budget, to show everything. So that kind of explains that away. And what this film does really, really well is it tips its hat very respectfully to werewolf movies previously, especially An American Werewolf in London. There's two things ripped straight from that film. There's two backpackers walking across the moors, which is an obvious reference to American Werewolf in London. And there's another scene in a hospital later on, where there's an old guy in hospital who actually played the porter in An American Werewolf in London. And the lines that are said to him while he's in hospital are exactly the same lines he delivered all them years ago in An American Werewolf in London, and they make reference to that as well. So it is quite nice in what they do. They tip in the hat to what's come previously, and I really like that. I found that really, really fun. So I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's really good. It delivers on the comedy, but for me it was a little bit too light on the horror. I think that side of it let me down, but the comedy side really, really worked. So yeah, if you like British humour and you like British horror comedies, I think you'll probably be in for a little bit of a treat here. I did really enjoy my time watching this film, so thank you very much for watching the review. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.